that man is the scariest Jason Voorhees who's ever donned the screen. Let's talk Friday the 13th Part 4, and it is Ted White, the scariest Jason ever.
Covenant, calling Raven.
Payback time.
Come on! Come with me if you want to live. You just don't turn it off!
Friday the 13th Part 4, the final chapter, was released in 1984, directed by Joseph Zito and starring Kimberly, Beck, Eric Anderson, Corey Feldman, and Ted White as Jason Voorhees. After being announced dead and taken to a morgue, Jason Voorhees spontaneously revives, escapes from the hospital, and stalks a group of friends renting a house in the countryside near Camp Crystal Lake. What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to Backtrack Cinema. My name is Jason, and welcome to my review of Friday the 13th Part 4, the final chapter. Or is it? Of course, it's not the final chapter, but for all intents and purposes, this was supposed to be the last one. You all know I just love Friday the 13th. I got some more stuff to show you guys here. Nice good old VHS of Friday the 13th Part 4. We got my boy, Ted White. Just absolutely beautiful. And we got my mask. Glorious, isn't it? Absolutely glorious, this mask. They've got the... Where is there? The cut in there. This is all done by NECA too, guys. Just wonderful stuff here. Friday the 13th Part 4 is just, it's a real fan favorite. The two movies you see on most people's top tier list are Part 6 or Part 4. Part 4 is absolutely beloved, and it should be. They got the formula down to a science by this point. They were gonna kill Jason once and for all, and the way he goes out is just awesome. Bringing Tom Savini back to kill the monster that he created in the first Friday the 13th film with all that makeup and stuff like that. Great cast of characters, all that stuff that we're going to dive right into here. So the two big standouts for me on this movie, man, is the kills and Jason Voorhees. This is my absolute favorite Jason Voorhees, played by Ted White. Rest in peace, Ted White. Just an amazing stuntman that went back as John Wayne's stunt double back in those Western movies. And he was just a real working stuntman and a guy who had no connection to Friday the 13th at all. The guy just came in, did his job, and he did a wonderful job. And I did get to meet Ted White just before COVID, I believe. He's just the nicest, sweetest man. We just talked about movies, and I talked about this character, and we talked about all the stuff that he's been in. It just had a great conversation with him. I got him to sign this. You see, I love that image of Jason. Just menacing, man, but there's this signature there. Just love this thing. I know I gotta get this one in plastic. But what Ted White brought to Jason was he built off what Richard Brooker did. Richard Brooker did, was that he's more iconic. He was big and lumbering. Ted White brought more of a speed to the character, more of a swiftness, a viciousness. Like once he got his hands on you, it was over. You know what I mean? And I love how Joseph Zito kept Jason in the shadows mostly, where we didn't really see him full on to near the end when he's running. And, when he crashes through the window and grabs Tommy, then busts through that door. And, the house feels so claustrophobic, kind of like having that big man in there coming after you. This is the scariest Jason to me. I think that he's the most terrifying Jason there is. Derek Mears too from the remake was really terrifying too, but for me, Ted White still played Jason in a way that I've never seen anybody play him before. You felt that this guy was not fucking around, man. He was coming after you, and he was gonna kill you swift and quickly. The freaking the hands and the nails and everything was just freaking awesome, man. Like, he was just a gnarly character in this, and a vicious character. And, and the kills Tom Savini creates with the team here, they did a wonderful job. I mean, Axel's kill is probably my favorite, with that surgical saw when he starts this saw on his neck and then twists the freaking neck around. Man, just blood everywhere. And I do think they could have lingered on these kills a little more. Maybe that had to do with the MP, the ratings board and all that. Jimbo's kill, the machete to the face, and Jason's death itself, man, iconic and just an amazing. Every time I watch it, man, when Trish just knocks that mask off and Tommy hits him in the eye, and when he falls down and sliding down his face like they cut an artichoke, just crazy ass kills in this thing, man, just crazy. Like, they all stand out. They all stand out. The dude in the shower, you know what I mean? You know, when Jason just grabs him and just starts squeezing and pushes his face into the thing. This Jason is vicious. I've always considered Ted White brutal, vicious, swift, and fast. Like, just love this performance of Jason Voorhees. Joseph Zito's directing style, I really enjoyed in this. He brought a lot more style, I think. This is where we got more style, and when we got Jason Lives, there was more style. That thing was just, that's all style, you know what I mean? But Friday the 13th Part 4, you know, there's actually a crane shot at the beginning where the ambulance is coming in and everything. They're cleaning up the murder scene. They take Jason to the morgue and everything. And you know, the big helicopters and everyone coming in, there's a crane shot there. And then when everyone leaves, there's just that moment where they linger, where it's just, you can just hear the crickets, and it's almost got this really creepy vibe to it. But another thing Joseph Zito, besides keeping Jason in the shadows, everything that I really liked, he has a little style to the kills. There's one kill, maybe not be everyone's favorite, but the thunder and lightning going around, and he spears this girl and throws her against the house. I just love how you see it in shadow, though, where you see Jason's shadow coming up behind her, and the kill is in shadow. That's really old school silent movie horror stuff from the 20s and 30s. Showing killers on the shadow, like Nosferatu going up the stairs, seeing him, just his shadow. Freddy Krueger coming around the corner, seeing his shadow. I love stuff like that, and I think that you put a killer's shadow while he's killing someone on a wall or something. That's just a lot of that's old school horror to me, and I just love that about that kill. Another thing Friday the 13th Part 4 has is my favorite final girl. I love Trish Jarvis. I got to meet Kimberly Beck too a couple years ago. Nice lady. She's always been my favorite final girl. I really like Trish, just how much she's fighting back, how much she's protecting her little brother. You know, they add this family dynamic in this with the mother. Jason kills the mother off screen, but then you got Trish taking control, trying to protect Tommy and all that kind of stuff. And I just love how she does that. She'll stop at nothing, you know what I mean? The way she protects Tommy, sacrifices herself, you know, when she jumps off the balcony and everything like that, and just takes Jason full on. She does fit into that mold of the classic final girl, smart, pretty, but she has a bite to her, man. Like, she has fight in her, and I love that.
You son of a bitch. I'm gonna give you something to remember this life.
You know, she doesn't, even when Jason's on top of her trying to kill her, she's just snapping back and hitting back and punching back and all that kind of stuff. And Corey Feldman as Tommy here, this is the start of basically your Tommy Jarvis trilogy. And we continue this character on with Part 5 and Part 6 and what Vincent DeSanti does in the Night for Hike Alone fan films of Friday the 13th, right? So you get to see this character as a kid, and he's the one who defeats Jason and everything like that. And the end of it, where this idea of Joseph Zito does of having this, almost this curse, this hatred, this revenge continues on with Tommy, or we think it's very ambiguous at the end where he hugs Trish and he just opens his eyes and there's that look on his face. So I love the way this ends. And the cast of characters I absolutely love. This is some of the best characters, maybe the best cast you'd ever seen in a Friday the 13th movie. Probably is the best cast. I love Jimbo and Ted. All the jokes, all this, these dudes are just picking on each other. You know what I mean? Jumbo's the horniest freaking Friday the 13th character ever. And Ted's just this, you know, obnoxious dude who keeps making fun of him. The way they hit off each other back and forth, I think, is absolutely hilarious. They had twins in the movie. You got some of the most gorgeous cast too of all time. But all these characters really reminded me of something out of a John Hughes film. You could put all these characters in like a 16 Candles movie easily. You know what I mean? They all have that. There's charm to them and humor and stuff going on in their lives, you know, as these teenagers they look more like college students, but you get my drift. But they're a lot of fun, this cast. I really like this cast a lot. Crispin Glover is an actor who's just so eccentric, and you just press record and let the guy go, and you can see it with that Jimbo dance, man. Absolutely hilarious. The movie's known for the Jimbo dance, man. You know what I mean? Everyone always looks forward to that. And I think Harry Manfredini just knocks the hell out of the score in this one. He adds a little bit more to it. There's a little more excitement to it and stuff like that. with his score when he amps it up, especially in that third act. And speaking of the third act may be one of my favorite Friday the 13th things of all time. The moment that Jason is killing Rob, you know, he's killing me, which everyone makes fun of, saying it's just absolutely hilarious. I've always found it kind of terrifying. That's just me. You know what I mean? Because he just, the way he grabs Rob and just starts hacking him up. And he's like, he's killing me. I think the guy's just so freaking terrified and so scared. And I don't know. I always found it creepier rather than funny. But, you know, I understand how people would find that moment real funny. But it gets action-packed and exciting. And it's badass, man. I mean, it's Jason. It's because how Jason's running after them. The aggressiveness Ted White shows. Chasing him up through the house and everything like that. That third act's just amazing. Crashing through windows, busting through doors. You know what I mean? It's just an amazing third act that it's one of my favorite horror moments of all time. I just love the third act to this thing. And there is a whole added scene to the end of this movie that never made it, but they did film it where they find the mother up in the bathtub. You know what I mean? Her eyes roll back white and stuff like that. Now, kind of cheesy with the eyes and everything like that, but if you watch it, they actually cut out Kimberly Beck's best moment. Her performance was amazing, and it is a loose end that they didn't find the mom, but seeing that emotion of finding her mom and stuff like that, if you got the big Scream Factory, Shout Factory, whatever you call it, big box set like I have, they have all that on the extra features. You can find it on YouTube too, but it's a great performance that unfortunately did get cut out. And because I love Trish Jarvis so much, right? I wish we would have got more of her. And talking with her at a convention, she said they did want her back, but she was just so busy at that time with other work and stuff like that. So it is what it is. It's too bad we didn't get to see more of this character, but so much meat on the bone you could have done with her. I always envisioned Trish myself grew up after this moment, what happened to her, kind of grew up and became a cop and became an FBI agent in the big city as hunting serial killers down and stuff like that. I think that's I don't know. I have always envisioned Trish Jarvis heading down that road. You know what I mean? After this, what takes place here in Friday the 13th Part 4. It's one of the best slashes out there, and you know, give credit to Lee from Drum Dums. He always says, you know, this is the template. You want to make a slasher movie? This is your blueprint. He's not wrong. Friday the 13th Part 4 is the best blueprint you can have for a Friday the 13th or for a slasher movie. You want to make a slasher movie? This is kind of the blueprint you follow. You know what I mean? Honestly, I don't have a lot of complaints about this movie. I think it's paced well, kills, characters. It's one of your highlights of the Friday the 13th franchise. There's things you could pull apart, obviously, and you know what? There's a lot of channels who'll do that for you. You know what I mean? But I just love this franchise. It's and this is one of the better movies in it. So it's Friday night. You got your popcorn, you got your drink, you're cozying up on the couch. Put on some Friday the 13th Part 4, the final chapter, and you'll promise you'll have a good slashing time. So I'm going to give Friday the 13th Part 4 a solid B. But what about you guys? Let me know in the comments what you think of Friday the 13th Part 4. We'll have a good discussion in those comments as always. And I am an admin on the Friday the 13th Society Facebook group, so I'll put the link there. Go on the Facebook, join the Facebook group. I'm an admin along with Becky Sue Peterson, Holly Klein, and our leader, Jeffrey Cool. Awesome dude to put this Facebook group together, so to definitely go check that out. There's your next video to go down the rabbit hole with. Have fun on the channel, all that stuff. My name is Jason. You're watching Backtrack Cinema. I'll see you next time, and I'll see you in the movies. Cheers.